You're about to witness a seismic event.
Fuck you, haters. You're watching Skitbags Radio.
Listening?
Oh, yeah. Listening.
Hello out there in the universe. Welcome to Skitbags Radio. What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Yo, how you guys doing today?
Chilling.
Everyone seems real excited to be here.
Yo, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yo, let's go around and check in. Who's here today? What up, Gabster?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Gabby at Gabby Shake.
Thank you for DJing. Thank you for being our fact checker. We love you.
are.
Yeah, and it's your boy, Mr. CD Enforcer, a.k.a. Poppy Carlo, on the Insta Jesus, man. Fucks with his Skitbags Wild Boys.
And you know, as always, this is Sailor Dev coming at you being host. Taking Neil the Great spot today. He is out doing some business, but he shall return next week. We love him. Anyways, we got in the house today, Executive Director of Rhonda's Kiss, a credible actor, who we'll talk about that after seeing his latest projects, phenomenal producer, and soon-to-be legendary director, the one, the only, the epic, and fabulous, and if I must say, quite charming, Kyle Stefanski's in the house. What's up, Kyle?
Thank you very much, Dev. How you doing today? How you guys doing?
Good.
Chilling? All right. What a beautiful introduction. You didn't have to be so gracious, but
Gotta give credit where credit's due, baby.
That's right.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I'm really
dude.
excited to be here.
Our pleasure, man. I'm excited to hear about a bunch of stuff you've been working on and stuff you got coming up.
Yeah.
But as always, before we get into the meaty, juicy good of the show, well, that's not true. It's all meaty, juicy, and good.
Oh, yeah.
But we always break down a movie or TV show to start out with. And in honor of our guest today, we kind of were thinking about different options and where we were going to go. But what do you guys think? Kyle, what did we decide on? What do you want to hit?
You know what? I thought of two things I wanted to touch on last minute. I wanted to talk about I, Tonya and Black Mirror a little.
Word.
Black Mirror is my shit.
Okay.
Black Mirror is my shit.
Well, which do you want to hit first? Let's get it.
Let's hit I, Tonya.
All right.
Phenomenal film. I mean, honestly, I thought she that's her best role I've ever seen her in. And
I agree.
the process that she went through, I mean, that's kind of what I want to do with my career now. You know, start producing the stories that I love, that I really want to get out there, that I think should be heard. But start making a lot of my own stuff, getting to these stories and getting it down. Yep.
That's awesome. Did all you guys see I, Tonya?
Yeah, I did.
So you did? Carl, you didn't?
No, I don't have no life, man. I don't get to see too much movies, man.
Movie pass, man.
I know. See, you kids, you got your little secrets. You need to tell older people like me faster. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna go though. I'm gonna get that movie pass, and I'm gonna go too much. They gonna cancel my fucking card.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like he go too much. He using it. It's like an all-you-can-eat spot. The Asian people start serving you and shit. They like, this motherfucker that ate too much for that $29.99. This big ass the fuck out of here, homeless. This is in the bottom of the pit, motherfucker.
You gotta maximize it, bro.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Well, regardless, whenever you do get around seeing it, I recommend. I saw it, dude, and I agree. I loved it. It was great. It was Margo Robbie's best performance.
Absolutely.
Hands down. Yeah.
For sure. What did you like specifically about it? What do you think?
I mean, it's such a fascinating, true story in and of itself.
Yeah. Do you think it was portrayed like accurately, or think they kind of juiced it up for entertainment?
I think of course they juiced it up for entertainment. It's Hollywood, but I think there's a pretty accurate portrayal of what was going on, and it just makes you feel so bad for Tonya Harding. You know, there's so many factors around her and variables that just kept getting in the way, and that she persevered, and then this whole scandal literally ruined her entire life. Like, she could not figure skate anymore. She didn't know what to do. That was her whole life, and I mean, like, they showed a couple like real clips from the real people afterward, and it's so spot on.
Yeah.
Like, their characters are so spot on.
She had all the ticks down.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait,
man.
So, to get it clear, so this is basically about the after effects of Tonya Harding and the boyfriend doing the thing with Nancy Kerrigan and busting the knee type joint?
Yeah, it's the entire story. Like, before I'm pretty
But
much
like
they
from
start
her
when she's
side,
young.
like Maleficent, like it's kind of like her backstory side.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yo, number one, I fucks with Tonya harder than a thug ass man. That's all I'm saying. God, they gangster with it, man. We need to
I don't
do
know
that.
about the thug part so much.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yo.
Fucking idiot thug.
I'm telling you,
maybe.
Seriously, oh my
if the
God.
Clippers had more people like that on their team, they'd have won a championship by now. Bust a couple knees, Jack. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, you guys
I don't know,
need
man.
something.
This is just more like the Three Stooges and the Clippers. Well,
Hey, you ain't never seen the Clippers play?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
added
I
us
was-
the three fucking Stooges with basketballs.
I was just gonna crack a joke. Here.
Pitiful.
I
Yeah,
was gonna-
yeah.
Pitiful.
Well, yeah, man. I thought it was real crazy. I thought, first of all, Margo's like commitment to the role and performance was
unbelievable.
excellent. That was really good.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah,
Completely.
100%.
And she does that with all of her roles. She learns like anything that she has to do. During the Harley Quinn movie, what was that? Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
She learned how to hold her breath for up to like 5 minutes underwater
That's
to do that underwater scene.
Yeah.
I've,
Well, she-
I've tried. I think my max is like 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Suck
You
and
gotta
hold
like
your breath.
you gotta like train for that.
You really do. You really do.
I got like a hood 37 seconds for all y'all.
There you go.
Oh God, y'all, Jesus, I can't breathe.
Yeah. But to your point, seeing movies, I haven't been able to see as many movies. This has been like a very low movie watching period in my life with the new boy. So
Yes.
it's so busy. It's like me and the girl, we haven't been to the movie theater together in, I don't know, like how long? It feels almost like 9 months.
You need a
Crazy.
babysitter?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There
you know
go.
what? We finally got into a babysitter that has a groove, and we like her a lot and trust her, so it's good. But yeah, dude, I haven't been to, and we live right across from the Grove.
Oh,
So it's
Too,
like
so it's
I
like
could
right there,
walk
too.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
tough. But
I feel the same way. I got to the point where I've gone to the movies specifically to see specific stuff. Whereas if I'm like casual, I'll be like, man, like the Oscars this year, we were talking about that before, and I told you guys, I was like, I only saw 2 of the out of
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
things nominated for
Yeah.
Best Picture. And it's not because I didn't want to. It was
I
just
feel
like,
unprepared.
yeah, and it was also kind of like, those types of movies, some of them just weren't, popular or running long or, and also I didn't feel like they were required to be like, an Avengers where like, I'm not going to go fucking see Avengers on my TV.
Right.
Like, I mean, I will probably if it comes on or something, but I'm not going to be like, oh, just like that's something you pay to go to the theater to see.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that's like drama and story heavy that plays just as well from the couch.
From your couch, yeah. Absolutely. I
That's
agree
why
with
I'm
that.
saying, guys, it's not just a millennial thing. I think everyone should get a movie pass. You should get a movie pass.
It's a really good idea
$9
financially
a
for the
month.
industry. I think it's really good.
$10
You
a
get
month.
one movie a day.
Support.
Like you
And
get
you
to
can
see
go
one movie a
That's
day.
crazy.
$10 a month. That shit is
That's
worth
crazy.
it, especially in this
It
industry.
sounds illegal. I'm not even gonna lie. It sounds illegal.
Well, it's gonna draw people to
It's to keep
going
the
out
theaters
to
from
the
closing.
theaters more.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Instead
It's
of
hard
Netflix
to
and-
get people to theaters nowadays.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's what I'm saying. You got the pass. I would probably go, especially, by the way, if I had the pass and lived directly across the street from a movie theater.
You'd be able to see pretty much any movie.
But
you
I
want.
also, I don't have a girl and I don't have a kid. So, like,
Right, right,
like, a little different.
Yeah, that's like having 2 part-time jobs.
for sure.
Part time.
For sure.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
full-time job, and then you got your regular work life, and then you went now say 2 full-time jobs when you got a girl and a kid, and then you get another kid. It's like you picked up a 3rd part-time job. So, and then you still got your regular job and whatnot, and that's why you got the old husband-wife thing, because it's like, okay, we're gonna split this up. We got 6 jobs now. Lord Jesus, what we gonna do?
Yeah, man. It's the most beautiful job I've ever had.
Yeah, that's right.
The most amazing job ever. Like, just it's hard to even describe. But changed my life in so many ways for the better. But yeah, jobs still there.
Yeah.
So
Well, besides from getting to the movies, we were going to bring up Black Mirror, and that you
Yeah.
can watch from your couch. Yeah.
Definitely can. You definitely
So
can.
before we go into this, and I am at fault because I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes of Black Mirror. All of
Okay.
them have been great,
Oh, yeah.
and I just have not invested the time to go through
Yeah.
and binge that shit and knock
Yeah,
them
you
all
gotta
out.
binge it out.
Because for me, that's kind of like how I like to do it, so I can like
Yeah,
be really focused on everything
Get
going
the whole
on.
picture.
That's how I did it with Stranger Things, you know,
Yeah,
and
cool.
you know, certain series captivate my attention like that,
Yeah,
and I feel like
yeah.
Black Mirror is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen a single Game of Thrones because I was like, I'm not gonna watch them until I read the books because I'm that much of a hardcore researcher.
But
Okay.
that's what's great about Black Mirror because each episode stands alone.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can-
Really?
That's
you
why I
can
like it.
randomly
Exactly.
watch
Yeah.
it here and there, and
Yeah.
everything makes sense. You
Yeah.
don't
They're
have to
all
follow
different
any
That's why I
storyline.
like it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
in
The
modern
in a
day Twilight
futuristic
Zone.
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard they
That's why I
called
liked
shit.
it. That's why I liked it.
I've heard they've like called shit. Like there's been stuff in Black
shit in
Mirror,
China
and then
right
like
now?
a couple like years later, a couple months later, will like actually come out and like be like, oh shit, now this new tech or like I've heard it hits the nail on the head of like what things might be like. And
Yeah.
That
Oh,
Black
it's-
Mirror
it's
episode
close.
where they rate people.
That's
yeah.
the one.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna say.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
what I want to talk about
The
right here. Is
Facebook
the one where they
girl.
rate
And the
people.
girl
All
just like
China implemented that
it's Uber.
dude.
That's Uber right there.
All right,
like,
so hold on, Kyle, go in because I want to hear what's up. You wanted to get in on
Dude,
this.
I mean, I just wanted to say, like, that's where we're going. Literally, everyone's in their phone, and you're rated off of each personal interaction, and then that's how you can get a loan. That's how you can, live in nicer houses and have a nicer life and go to nicer restaurants.
Yeah.
Like it's all based on this rating system.
Racism.
And it's like, what is real anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? You know, between technology and, I mean, I don't know where the future of this goes. I'm watching that. I'm thinking about like, okay, this is kind of realistic. Like it's getting there, and then thinking about my son and like, what kind of world is he gonna grow up into? Like,
oh shit, yeah, like
it's crazy.
I get that, and you're absolutely right. Like, where does it? It's kind of, it's awesome, but it's also a little scary to think of because it's a little bit 1986.
Yeah.
You know, or 1987. Where the fuck the book is? Sorry.
And one of the weird consistencies between all of them, I
84.
think in almost everyone, does
remember.
everybody have the contacts in every single one? You know, the contacts where you can see all the stuff like your Determinator. Does everybody have contacts? I know some of them, they say everybody had forced contacts from birth.
Right.
And some of the other ones, people had to choose, you know, and they would actually tease the other kids about them because you could like block out the world. So if you don't want your kid to hear barking and shit, you could grade some shit out.
That's
like,
that's
oh
wild.
man, I was having
That
a stress day today.
episode-
Like I wanted to black the whole world out. I wanted to be the red dude today. I just didn't want to hear shit today. Just bzz, 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 bzz. It's freaky because you can block people, you know, if you don't like them. Oh, it's
Like,
oh,
legit, you can just
crazy.
block them. They don't exist
they
in
don't
your
exist.
life.
You're just
anymore.
a ghost. You're just this mumbling ghost.
Here's okay.
crazy.
So I'll get your thoughts on this because I wanted to. I got an opinion because I really have a feeling that it will self-correct. Like I feel like
Okay.
if it goes one way or the other too extreme, we as humans are pretty adaptable and we might wait to the 11th hour to do something, but
Yeah.
usually, you know, we kind
Okay.
of self-correct. And the reason I say that is the example of the social media and the rating system and casting and shit here in Hollywood. So right now, for all you guys listening, it's a lot of studios and shows are hiring social media influencers and YouTube influencers
All over.
based on their following because they can bring numbers to networks and to shows,
It's
right?
like trap.
Well, my theory of it is, you know, whether you're a record label or a network or a studio, your job is to curate content for people who pay money to go see your content. So whether it's a movie or a TV show, they pay, you know, for cable, or like HBO is a great example. You pay for HBO as a subscription, right? So for HBO originals, they curate content, and you know when you're like, oh, this new show on HBO, you know it's going to be a certain caliber. You know it's going to be like at least this quality and has this much like good vetting, good writing, production value.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be like somebody half-assed it. So when studios or networks or anybody stops curating their content and just goes after the fan base, the fan base will no longer look to that studio as the filter, and they will lose their business. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like right now it might be popular, but once these social media stars like I've seen them go into act and star on a TV show, and they don't know how to act.
It's bad.
So
it's bad,
it's bad for the show. Yeah.
I've seen it all over.
That's where the self-correction I feel like comes
Will
in.
Smith
though.
said he didn't know how to act. He said they offered him a show and didn't even ask him did he know how to act, and he couldn't. Luckily he was just a personable motherfucker.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, every once in a while it works out, and that's fine. But I just don't. I think those are the exceptions to the rule versus like the standard in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like the self-correction comes in because like after maybe like if we're looking at like 5, even like 10 years from now, I don't think we're gonna have studios and networks hiring social media stars like they are now.
No,
because
it depends on how they do, and
it'll be
and
case by case.
If they improve,
I think
you know,
that will correct itself. But the whole idea of literally living your life like this, in just straight up in your phone, and then watching other people's lives, it's like
It's
how many
terrifying.
people
And-
spend
and
their lives
recording it
on
and
social
playing it
media.
back and shit.
Exactly,
Oh
and
my
that
God.
really is, the fakest that we can be. It's all our best moments that we put out there, and that's what people perceive, and they really take that in as like reality.
Yeah.
And it's getting wild. So I'm curious how far that will go. Will it come to some type of like, rating system where it changes, money even?
Yeah.
I think they will eventually become a different, like we will create a VR world that will be like a VR internet. So like you will be able to actually either plug in, whether it's you call it like looking at your phone or actually put on some
It's the
thing,
contacts,
but
man. Like
That's
they're
Ready
gonna
Player
make
One.
them do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, soon they're gonna put the phone in your arm on some shit, so you can just hit this shit on your arm.
No, but
then next, I'm telling you, one day they were like on this movie. Oh, the contacts, they're so close to making them now.
Look, there will
Already,
always
dude.
be people though who don't want to participate in that. Like
That's okay.
for
We'll
over
live
a
in the
year, I didn't have my social media. Like I deactivated everything for over a year, and it was awesome and refreshing. But like I lived just fine. Like nothing really crazy fucking happened. Like maybe I didn't message an old buddy that lives out of
their
town
birthday
every
or
once in a
something.
while. Yeah. But, my fucking world kept spinning. And then, like, when I moved back out to Cali, I just turned everything back on. And realistically, only for work to,
I was gonna say,
contact
you
with
have
people.
to. You have
Now
to
you
for
have
work.
to.
No.
But
Yeah.
it's also depending on what your job was. Like I was living in St. Augustine. I worked at a distillery and I was a tour guide for ghost tours at night and bar tours. And I was like sailing and shit. And like my life did not require for work
No,
that.
I-
Yeah. But so it was
Super cool,
It
yeah.
was a totally different type of vibe. But my point is like there will always be people. There's gonna be some dude living in a cabin in Colorado that
Always.
just has no need for that and is totally fine.
Always there will be, but will the trend go the other way more so?
Oh, probably. But I also think that, like you said, we'll probably get to a point, maybe like decades from now, where we do go so extreme that maybe the cool hipster thing to do then would be to like
cut it
no
back.
phone. I'm going radio, handheld radio, guys. That's we use a CB radio, and play vinyls.
Cool, man.
Okay. I mean that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I just see technology not stopping.
No, every 6
I don't think
months.
it's gonna stop.
Every
No.
6 months. Every
No.
6 months there's something new. Every 6 months. Every
And-
6 months. Every 6
Well,
months.
isn't
there's
this
something
going
new.
to? Isn't this
Technology
building
bad.
up to what? What's it called? The focal point. It has a name. It's not like the epicenter. It's called the singularity, where AI comes out, and AI gets so powerful, and this tech
Right.
becomes so powerful
Terminator.
that it's almost more advantageous for us to biologically integrate with it
Oh
somehow.
yeah, I want to be
So, like,
Android. I want to be like a
Cap,
bionic leg and all
Android
that shit. I don't care. I'm crazy.
Extend the life of
I'm
humans.
crazy.
Sure.
I don't where it goes
that's
and
cool.
how that manifests is really the scary part because I don't know, and nobody I think does. But it's fine as long as the red's on. It's still recording, so just let it ride. But yeah, who knows? But
Yeah.
I think we do it like we do with the nuclear bomb. If we can manage to get ourselves out of a certain period of time without killing ourselves, I think we'll be all right.
I don't know. I think it's going to end up like Hunger Games. It's going to get really bad. The broke people going to get pissed. They're going to try something. We done gave up enough of our guns because too many people got shot in school. So everybody got single pistols and shotgun hunting rifles. Then the government's like, look, we just going to whoop your ass. We going to try to fight back. They're like, nope, motherfuckers, getting these little cave things. Once a year, we're going to have a little game and remind you about the time you stood the fuck up and was like, no, I'm not going to take this, buddy. And they're like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You don't even got a gun. Remember these automatic ones? And that's how it's going to be. Like 30 to 50 years.
Or what about, you guys seen WALL-E?
Oh, yeah. That's the super future. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But we're getting so lazy,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Food ordered to you everywhere. Everything is we're all about convenience.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Where does that go with our laziness and technology? Like,
Well, it's gonna transition, I think, to like, instead of doing like relying on manual labor heavily, it will be intellectual labor.
Well, yeah.
In time.
I think it's good. Like I got this weird presidential dream that, and for what the infrastructure project would be was to make America green again, where you cut back on the military money, raise some taxes on some rich dudes, and then you take that money and you use it for an infrastructure project to rebuild America's highways, streets, and everything, like iRobot and everything. I mean, all green and technical, and rebuild all the factories and you train the Americans to just maintain it. So we all work like 6 to 12 hours a day. You might work 4 hours. Your job is to go wash the machines for a couple hours or learn how to fix one thing. You train Americans while the other ones are building it. Use the Marine Corps engineers to have everybody run it and whatnot. And we just pay for the shit, and it'll be building jobs. It'll be jobs for America. We'll rebuild America from scratch. And when we're done, we'll have this super fucking solar powered green mega kickback, and then we can be creative and paint all day. You know, and Colin his lady can get to see a movie when they got a couple of kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
Make America great again. That's the goal. I'm telling you. Make it great again.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, all right. So for the tech stuff, Kyle, I agree with what you're saying. I haven't even touched really on Black Mirror because I want to get to the show itself.
Oh, this is all Black Mirror stuff right here.
But I was gonna say, like, what would be like the ideals, like the that you could see? What would be like the ideal situation that it could go to? Because it has all these potentials. It can go this way, that way, this way. Like, what do you think? I mean, where it's not too bad, you know?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, I've thought about it, but I don't know. Everything's just happening so quickly. I'm not sure what things are going to look like in 5-10 years from now.
Well, very true. Well, this is why I learned how to sail, guys. I learned how to sail, and I can grow my own food. I can distill my own booze, and I can grow my own weed. So if the world goes to shit, we had an episode where I talked about sailing. I was like, guys, the apocalypse happens. I got a boat. I got supplies. We going. We get the fuck out of Dodge.
Done. There you go.
Number one on my apocalypse list. That's the first. I don't care what part of the planet I'm on. I'm like, where the fuck is Devin at?
I was like, I knew that. I cut because
number one,
dude. This is a legitimate thing because back when I was in college and even shortly after, I would have like long thoughts about. You know, I was always into politics, geopolitics a lot. I was just interested about it. History. I'm a huge history buff. Studied a lot of like military history, politics, and just shit that has happened over the human race in different eras, you know?
Great to learn about.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because sometimes you're reading it and you're like, damn, you can't make this shit up. But anyways, I think that through that, I always got a sense of like, what if the shit does hit the fan like it did over here, you know, X amount of years ago, or it did over there X amount of years ago. I was like, I gotta be prepared. So like, I'm like, let me go figure out how to like start a fire in the woods and go camping. And like, go figure out how to like do shit that like you need to do to just survive in general.
Right. Seriously.
Well, maybe that's the balance. Maybe as long as like as the years progress, like trying to encourage at least a fraction of your time to be spent away from the tech. To like you know make sure like we still maintain our roots because humanity like think about it, we've only had this tech really for the past 100 years and our biologically we're tuned to hundreds of thousands of years old.
Definitely.
And a hunter-gatherer mindset too. We've only had agriculture recently in our history. And granted that's allowed us to like colonize the world or the whole planet, but you know
but only what for like 4,000 years maybe.
I mean like ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, back in like you know
when he was like, okay, we can stop and like grow some shit. But past that was like 40,000 years of like walking around. Just walking the fuck around like cows and shit. Just let's fuck this shit up over here. Let's go fuck it. Move, pregnant woman. Goddamn, you're slowing us down, pregnant bro. Come on, walk now, woman. They gonna eat us. That's the good old days, man.
It's like the more I learn about all the crazy shit going on in the world, the more I want to get away into the woods and forget about all the fucking crazy shit going on.
A lot of crazy shit. It's a tough
Give
time
me
in the world.
give me a case of beer, a tent, some firewood, and a bag of mushrooms, and I will be fine for the weekend.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, anyways, what you got any other thoughts on Black Mirror or anything like you guys?
I mean, it's the future.
Because like,
I'm just curious to see what you guys were thinking on it.
well,
I mean,
The first
very
episode
interesting.
of this last season of season 4, USS Callister.
That was a wild
the
one.
best one.
That was
That's
a
my
wild
favorite
episode.
one in
It's crazy.
my opinion.
It's crazy. Yeah.
No,
One of my
refresh the crowd's memory what that one is about since
so
we're talking about it.
spoiler alert if you
Yeah.
Yeah, refresh.
If you've never seen it, it's so there's the most intelligent man in the world. He figured out how to you can scan yourself into this virtual reality world. So it's you in your brain, but he is kind of evil and fucked up. So people that he hated in his like work
That he
office,
worked with. Yeah.
he would like take their DNA and then make an AI of them.
Yeah.
And then they would be transferred into this virtual reality where he was in charge.
And they'd be stuck.
he was so
He was
fucking
like a
Because in
superhero.
the
He's
real
like a
world, he
superhero.
was just kind of like a bitch to everyone, and
Yeah.
they treated him like shit. So this is how he got back at everyone. Like created his own world to mess with these people, and they were stuck there forever.
that's so crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's wild,
God.
dude.
That's
It's dark.
definitely dark and twilighty.
It's dark.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
fight
You know-
their way out of his brain like into the regular virtual reality, and now they just like travel intergalactic
Dude,
time.
the specifics of how
it's crazy, dude. It's
the specifics about like all the science behind how all this is really gonna work and manifest out, I think that's gonna determine a lot of if this can happen, if that can happen. Because like I always had a theory. All right, your consciousness, in my opinion, is you have every human being has an electrical current running through them, like in your nervous system. Your brains are firing, your neurons are firing, and and if you so every electrical current exerts a frequency, a hertz frequency, and the way quantum physics describes the dimensions is existing between hertz frequency ranges. So like our dimension and the third dimension exists between this frequency and this frequency. And imagine them like octaves on a keyboard. So all the same notes in the same scale and then just going up the same thing, just a different higher. That would be like the fourth dimension, fifth, or beyond that. Anyways, if you're trying to say like you get your consciousness and the pattern in which your neurons fire is like specific to you and your identity, then if you translate that into a computer system, how can you should be? It's like it would meld too much if you're one electricity to another electricity kind of thing. And also like I think when my belief system is like when you pass away, all matter, laws of physics say matter cannot be created or destroyed, it only changes form, right? So when your atoms in your body decompose and they turn into carbon and other shit, in the ground. The electricity in your body, what they think, and my theory is DMT exerts a chemical reaction, electrochemical reaction in your brain when you're born, every time you go into REM sleep, and when you die. And when that happens, it literally acts as like a frequency adjuster. So the hertz frequency that your body's tuned to, your consciousness is acting like an antenna, sending and receiving.
oh yeah.
That will change to a different frequency, a plane of existence, like a different dimension.
Yeah, we're like a bunch of little
I don't know. I'm
electromagnets.
unpacking a
That's
crazy
it.
amount of shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, seriously.
the
That's
only
a
reason
lot.
I say that is because it's like, how do you download your consciousness if the physics of it support these rules of physics and with electricity and matter in the universe? I don't know because I'm not a neuroscientist and I'm not on the edge
I
of
guess
this.
it's not really
But-
a consciousness. I guess it's really just a copy.
But all right,
like
well,
a
then
copy,
you could do that. I guess. I don't know though.
Like
Yeah.
a copy.
But I wouldn't be as fearful of being trapped in some prison of the mind, so to speak, which is still a really dark and freaky, crazy.
Yeah,
like that
I'm
does
good.
scare me. The possibility
I'm
of
good
that.
on that.
That's an episode of Black Mirror
Right.
too.
Oh, dude,
Right.
they got tons of them.
Oh, man.
Tons of them. The
But, like-
guy with in the room with the TVs. Oh my God, riding the bikes, yo.
I would be more afraid of like the
Killer.
AI and the machines becoming aware and not be. DARPA just invented a machine and made public with it that goes around the battlefield and it runs and powers itself on organic living matter. So its job is basically they release it to go eat dead bodies on the battlefield. But I'm like, really, guys?
Wow.
Terminator? Anyone? We just made a machine that eats people.
That's kind
Right.
Literally. And
crazy.
I'm like,
I mean,
Dude.
That was an episode of Black Mirror
as
too.
a nerd type dude, that's
I didn't
kind
see
of
that
cool.
one.
Oh man, all those episodes.
The black and white episode from the last season.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to
Spoiler
this
alert,
in the
spoiler
future,
alert, spoiler alert.
100 years from now, the date is
Right.
March 25th, 2018. And if the machines have taken over, you know how it started.
There it is.
I hope
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Well informed.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my.
100 years from now, you hope you're alive?
Oh
maybe
yeah, I
not.
want to live forever. That's my other like secret little weird plan. It's like, you know how they got the Human Genome Project where you can grow body parts, you can grow hearts, you can grow different things, you can grow using the cell stuff. They put your cells on like this little
Oh,
tissue
man.
they make, right? So if you're rich, you give a couple $1 million to like USC, you know, get you know Mr. C. D. Anthony building, and their whole project is to regrow all the organs and muscles and everything in my body.
No,
so
no-
anytime something goes bad, I got a heart problem, it pop me in a new heart, dog.
So,
Yeah.
would you get bored if you live forever?
I don't know. I think it's like I want to see where humans go. You know
Sure.
what I mean? I want to see because I mean people I've seen. I've had friends die young. I've had grandparents die on me.
Right.
That's just a fact of life. You know what I mean? So it's going to happen. It's just like it'd be nice because it feels like with the energy you talked about that never leaves and goes. It goes up, comes back. You might come back as a dog. You might come back as Shaq if God likes you, whatever it may be. But I feel like your brain gets wiped when you go, and then you come back with all these vague memories, and then you're like trying to figure it all out from scratch all over again. And then right when you figure it out, like 97, like, bam, all right, wipe the brain, new body, send them back, try it again, motherfucker. And it's like, wait, but what about all the good things I figured out? Figure it out again. But you're gonna have these feelings though. You're not gonna understand them. So I look at it like that. So it'd be nice to not have that reset. And be able to be like, I don't care. Like they was in the Bible, Methuselah and all them 2,000-3,000 years and whatnot. I don't know what it is. They smoke a good weed or something, you know. But I mean, it'd be nice to be around that long because I mean, eventually, you know what I mean. It's gonna be a fact of life, you know what I mean. And if I want to die, I'll just stop popping in parts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sure.
And
You
we
know what I
might
mean?
get to that point. That is a very real possibility, you know?
Like cars.
You know, there's a church in Florida.
It's weird.
This is hilarious. There's a church in Florida called the Church of Perpetual Life, and it's started by a bunch of old retired rich people, and like I think it's in West Palm, and they have this church because they are afraid of dying, so they have like cryo chambers that they're building to extend life and extend life research. And there was like an interview on like a local news channel I saw where this woman, a member of the church, was like being interviewed, and she was like crying, like, no one should ever really have to die. It's just like so unnatural, and nobody should ever have to go do it. And that really struck me because I was
That's
like,
weird. No, dying is definitely natural.
because that's my thing. And I was like, it's literally the
Very
thing that
natural.
every living thing has in
Yeah.
common. I mean, like
Exactly.
we all
Exactly.
like a
Yeah.
tree has seeds. You know, snakes and reptiles have eggs. You know,
Yeah.
humans
There's
born
a
live.
beginning and an end.
Yeah, but we all come into the world differently, all living things, but we
Yeah.
all leave the same.
Yeah.
You know? So like I was like, it's so crazy our fascination with the fear of death when it's literally like I think the most natural thing we can do. Maybe the timing of death can be, you know,
Exactly.
a little adjusted or something like that, but you know, overall, like I don't know. I think we're living in a video game, a simulation, anyways, and we just like
I just,
black out.
It's for me. It's not even anymore a fear of death. You know, like I accept that it's a fact of life. I understand it, but suffering
Yeah.
is what I fear for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like playing sports, for example. I had multiple concussions, broke my neck. I've had shoulder surgeries. Like, how is my body gonna progress? Like, what's gonna be the whole deal? So.
Well, I could tell you, from somebody who didn't think I was gonna make it to 30, I can tell you that, it does give you a different mindset. Well, I have hemophilia, which means it's a bleeding disorder where my blood doesn't stop bleeding.
Ooh.
And I give it really mild. So, like, I only need to give myself, like, IV medicine for, like, major cuts and wounds and, like, hospital trips and shit anyways.
Sure.
But there are people who have it, like, so severe that they have to, like, get themselves IVs every day. And, like, if they fall down the stairs, they, like, could die of internal bleeding. And it's, like, real serious.
Yeah, that's bad.
And I've also blinded my right eye. So from a corneal transplant when I was 2, I got chickenpox in my eye. So I haven't been able to play sports, and I always thought that, like, with all my medical shit, I'd be like, it'd be a goddamn miracle if I don't fall apart by the time I'm fucking 30 already, So it caused me to kind of behave in a little bit more of a reckless way when I was younger, that I probably would give myself a little bit more conservative advice these days.
I hear you.
But at the end of the day, it allowed me to have a very rich, fulfilling life. So it's a positive and negative to each side. And, like, with the injury thing, you might be injured, but you have those memories and those experiences that are probably built character.
Absolutely.
Did a lot of things that you can't get anywhere else.
Definitely.
Chinks on the armor, man. A knight in shining armor has never seen battle.
Yeah,
my man. Definitely. I agree with you.
Well,
I do.
Yeah. Injuries make you think, boy. They give you time to reevaluate.
Well, speaking of, being a knight in shining armor, our guest today, Mr. Knight in weathered and experienced armor over here. Kyle, man, we want to talk about the recent movie that I just saw that you invited me to the premiere of.
Yes.
First, we take Brooklyn. By the way, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Insert clap noises and applause. Dude, awesome film. Before I want you to tell everyone out there a little synopsis about, like, kind of generally what the film's about and, your part in it. But before I do, I want to comment and give you a little praise over there, because as you guys can tell listening, Kyle is one of the nicest, awesome, most chill, respectful and kind-hearted human beings I've ever met. Like, I couldn't imagine you being aggressive, negative at any point. Like, it'd be so weird. And the reason I bring that up is because of your character in this fucking movie.
Oh, yeah.
And you are the asshole. And I wanted to not like you very much as a character in this. And I was just sitting there watching the movie, and I was just like, God damn, Kyle, you really make me want to fucking hate you during this and stuff. And then, like, I saw you after the premiere, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, it's just, I love him still.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Not all my family has seen it yet, so that'll be an interesting experience to go through with them as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
What is this? Yeah.
Well, it's
definitely.
cool. That means you got your range,
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's what I'd want to hear as an actor, honestly. That's the highest praise I could get. Thank you so much, Devin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up acting myself, and then I used to teach musical theater, so I'm a student of both sides.
I was a student.
Yeah. But anyway, I studied, all aspects of acting from, Greek theater and all throughout, written history, and just to get a good idea of how it all has happened.
You're a thorough type of guy. You want to know, get the whole picture.
I'm very method in my performance.
I get it.
It's like a real actor, like a real theater guy like me. I'm like this untrained thing we picked up off the street that just acts crazy. You know what I mean? But, like, Devin is tap dancing in theater, and he can get up in front of a crowd and do a play and remember all his words and not, like, fuck it up. Like, I know to do a rap song and fuck up a song. I've been doing it for 7 years. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, that's not to say we don't fuck up. The only difference is we practice to improvise and to come up with shit on the moment. So when we do fuck up, because somebody's always gonna fuck up, but we can handle it and we can make it look like we didn't. But coming from all that, the only reason I bring that up, God damn, it felt like I just fucking sucked my own dick on there. That's not why I was talking about this. The only reason I was talking about that is to give you a compliment and say, having understood all that, seeing that performance really tells me that A, you know what the fuck you're doing, and B, you're good at it. So that's why I wanted to say that and set that apart from, the rest of the conversation, as far as, like, giving people an insight. Now they hear you on the air, and now they go see the movie, and they can see the man behind the character, and seeing that transition and the difference you took in that extreme transition shows me the talent. And I told you before this, we were talking about Hunter S. Thompson. One of the main reasons is his performance with Johnny Depp. performing it in Fear and Loathing.
Yep.
It made me want to become an actor. So,
Man.
you know, that's why I brought that up to tie back into that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much again.
That was a long rant.
I really, really appreciate that. I mean, that's all I could ever want to hear as an artist, and my craft is a very deep passion. And you know, this is I've been doing it for a while, but this is just where I'm breaking, and it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
And tell everyone out there a little bit about like the summary of the movie, kind of,
Sure.
and you know, and your part in it, and like what your character, I guess, and like
Okay.
and we'll go. I'm going to process and kind of go over it. I want to talk, whatever you want to talk about. But like I said, I like to give people like a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak, what it was like on a good set like that.
Sure. So I would just start by explaining it's an Israeli gangster film that takes place in Brooklyn. Obviously, the name first, we take Brooklyn. Starring Harvey Keitel, Annalyn McCord, who plays my girlfriend, and Danny Bekazar. And essentially, it's the main character is this guy who was in jail, in prison actually, over in Israel for 18 years. Because he shot and killed someone that was bothering his family. And so he gets out and he travels to Brooklyn, New York, because he's got some other family over there. And he wants to make a new life for himself. It's a new place. And so he's working with his uncle. And he kind of just gets in the mix of these people. There's a couple hustles going on. And there's a Russian gangster crew, and then there's this Israeli crew. And basically, the long story short, he gets in the mix of all this gangster stuff going on, and he's a big hothead. So it was based off, a character that Danny himself was aware of back in Brooklyn, New York, where he grew up. And basically, this character, he got in. Was doing deals with like John Gotti after a fucking year, like running the Russian mob.
Wow.
Crazy hustler. And then the guy, he got shot like 7 times, and he didn't ever touch that life again. So it was pretty serious.
You get shot 7 times and lived?
And lived.
Oh,
and
shit.
lived, yeah.
Right, like he 50 Cent or
That's
something.
what I was gonna say.
Right, exactly. That's what I thought of when I actually heard it. But that doesn't. The story doesn't. It doesn't ring true to the actual like accounts. So,
Right, it's inspired.
It's inspired, and it definitely, doesn't end the same way. So we didn't give anything away here.
Yeah, that's right. No spoilers.
But my character is a douchebag, basically.
For real.
The biggest douchebag, and I'm a hustler. I'm a gangster who's in between all the crews, and I'm playing crews off of other people, and I'm dating Annalyn McCord's character, who's the main female in the film. She was on that 90210 reboot series. Yeah, and then she's done a bunch of films since then. Great actor. Really fun to work with.
The whole film brought the acting game for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And my character is this guy who basically is the catalyst for all the drama in the entire film. So I'm the one who gets things going, and I'm in the middle of everything.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
A lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I know it's got to be a lot of work too. Like with the director and the writing and the lines, did they kind of make you always say the lines always exactly, or did they give you make you say them and maybe then give you freedom to kind of do you guys' thing? Because I know it's a big film, so I want to know how strict are they on the set about that?
It all depends on the director.
Yeah.
This director, he had such a vision for the story. He knew how he wanted it. So he would ask me to do it certain ways.
Okay.
And then I also have the freedom, because we got several takes. It's a bigger production. So then I had the freedom to kind of play with it on a couple takes as well.
Cool. Yeah.
So it was the range of being able to do that. But as an actor, that was cool for me, because I can take direction, do what he wants me to do, and then I can go have fun with it and see if he's impressed, and we can work on that. So that was cool.
Cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. A lot of actors say that. They say they love it when they come across a director it kind of gives them the freedom to do their thing. They get the lines out his way, and then he kind of lets them do their thing. They say, oh man,
the freedom is where it's at. I love to live in that freedom. Definitely. I do a lot of improv.
Well, it is contingent on the director, and I don't direct, but I'm a producer. So my job as a producer is to hire people that are great at their jobs. Mm-hmm. So that's what I like.
You're the Donald Trump of this shit.
Come on
way
now.
to put it, man.
That's what he says.
He puts the right people together. He can see the combination and why.
Well,
that was his intention.
So does a fucking conductor of an orchestra. There's a multitude of different professions and positions that can do that same job. Anyways, point is being an actor, I was like, I like that philosophy too. Like, okay, let's do what the director wants. But if I had the ability and I was on set, I'd like whisper in director's ear. I'd be like, maybe we got time, we got it in the budget, maybe just get them, a couple takes on their own, let them play. What's the worst that can happen? We just, it's in the can, worst? So like, we just don't use it,
I'd rather take you liked, but what's the worst that can happen? You might see something that you like even more.
As long as we're not over budget and over schedule.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing. Coming from those dollar signs, add the fuck up, man. I'm trying to picture.
Yeah, they do. Movies are expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. People don't really know the full gist of it, but there's a lot.
For what was it like preparing for the role? Did you have a lot of time? And then on set, what was the tone like? Because this is a very intense character who's very different from you. Mm-hmm. So when the director yells cut, are you guys going with your castmates and you're like, hey, so what's up, everybody? Hey, how about them Dodgers? What's the deal? Or is it just kind of like, yo, man, I need to go step off to the side and mind my business? Or are you like Daniel Day-Lewis, director's got to be like, Mr. President, what's up?
Sure. Yeah. You know what? First of all, any of the features that I've done, I have not had a lot of time. Everything has been very, very close to shooting. And with this, I was able to turn it on and turn it off very much so, because I didn't feel like being the mean guy the whole time, because I'm getting to know all these people on this new production. This was my first feature, big feature that I shot. So I really wanted to get the feel of how things went down and really understand it. So I was studying a lot. So if I wasn't there delivering the lines the way that I needed to, I was building relationships. I was studying how everything works. I was, the whole process was a learning process for me, because I want to be in this business for a long time. And, I don't like to waste time.
No, man, that's, thinking about longevity, I think that's definitely the right way to approach the situation. What do you think, when you're going on a set and you're going to actors, and you can't, the thing about movies is it's a very collaborative medium, right? Yeah. So everybody's working together to build one thing. It's the director, the grips, it's the gaffers, the camera, operator, the actors and actresses, costume, there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
So when you go into acting, it's really kind of hard with co-stars to see how you're gonna vibe creatively with somebody.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you think are good tricks to maybe break ice and kind of go into a creative setting? Is it more case by case basis?
Yeah, I go case by case, because everything's so different. I went from that set and Anna Lynn McCord and that dynamic to the next one I shot was Gotti with John, and I'm one-on-one with John Travolta. So it wasn't, me and Travolta didn't prepare together before.
I can't imagine he was come to my trailer for an hour while we run lines.
Exactly. No, it wasn't like that at all. So with Anna Lynn, for example, we were getting hair and makeup done together. And so we just started riffing, just started kind of getting to know each other. That was cool. We had a lot of fun with it, because it was, so off. I think I would like to hope from who I actually am, but yeah, we just had a lot of fun kind of playing with it. When I was preparing, it was the night before we were my first day, and me and my girl were at the Gansevoort Hotel in New York City, and we just went down to grab a drink and just, you know, talk and just kick it because they have a beautiful bar down there. So we're hanging out, and I just decide, like, look, I'm not even gonna let her know. I'm just gonna kind of jump into character that I've been preparing in my head and alone, you know, but I haven't sprung it on anyone. And she's a girl, and so my character is such a douchebag. He's so mean to women. So it was like, I hate it, but I gotta do it. And she didn't understand at first. She was so confused, like, what just happened? Like, what happened? I don't know this person. Like, what is going on? And then, like, it got, like, really intense. And I was like, okay, babe, I was just acting. I was just trying to prepare. You were part of this whole thing. And I didn't want to, like, prep you for it because then you know. Yeah. So I wanted to just jump into it and get your natural reaction off of, if someone's a douchebag to you, like, how are you really going to feel, you know? Yeah. So,
that's method research right there, baby.
Dude,
fuck yeah.
That's
like
how
that.
you know you acting good. When people believe that shit, like, what the fuck? Like, he's
And then I bought her a really nice dinner to make up for it. For sure.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well done. Gentleman and a scholar.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, you know, so having worked on now, you know, these bigger movies and stuff, what do you think is like the main difference from an acting perspective that you can maybe like offer some insight to some people out there who are still like coming up in the industry or like maybe just getting started, like maybe a difference between doing something smaller, doing something big, or maybe something to think about and prepare for to help, you know, get you more prepared to do that kind of work and bigger budget stuff?
Yeah. So I guess the best way for me to explain it is experience. Honestly, I mean, if you can get on a set as a PA, as like a larger set, if you want to act, for example, if you can just get on a larger set and see what the feel is like, because your first feature that you jump into, for example, if you're transforming from, you know, smaller budget films to large features, you don't get much preparation. You jump right in as an actor, you know. So that first day, your first shoot, it's like you're in motion. You got to ask a lot of people that you know who have done it before, get everyone's advice, learn all your sides and everything. And it's not, and for people who maybe have trouble with memory and memorizing lines, for example, they do approach these things, you know, scene by scene. So you have time to prepare each of the scenes. So it's not crazy amount of dialogue for each one. So it's doable, but you just have the experience. So like my next feature that I do, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, in my zone when I hit features now. But, you know, I just know it because I did 3 already. But that first one, it's always like I had Mike Hermosa and Mickey Gooch were on set, for example. So I had some friends.
Yeah, it's good
on
coaches because Mickey's a fabulous actor. So I know he had some good tips for you.
Exactly. And Mickey had done a bunch of features prior to me doing this, and so that was great. And it felt like family. And I had worked with Mike Hermosa as a director. So it was fun to get it in that way. I would recommend if you have a support system going into those as well, because it's kind of daunting, man. It really can be. I remember Kevin Connolly, who is from Entourage.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
He's the one who directed the Gotti film.
Right, of course.
So when I was sitting down with him talking about my character, talking about like the whole thing, what's going down, he told me a story. He's like, it always happens. He's like, you are going to be acting one-on-one with John Travolta. So you just got to know that you're going to slip up here or there. Just keep it going no matter what. Like, keep it flowing. You know, don't do an amateur move where you like need a cut and then go back, because pros like that don't work like that. And he told me a story when he was on this movie John Q with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that was the shit.
Yeah, that was one of his first like big moments with the one-on-one like A-lister, because he had acted and he did a bunch of stuff, but he was like, it happens to everybody. He's like, Denzel came out around the corner and I just blanked. Just straight up blanked.
Bro,
And
you
he's
got
like,
fucking Denzel Washington just like walking on set, like
exactly.
intimidating as fuck because he's Denzel.
'Cause he is.
So
He
much
is.
presence coming in the room and
right,
shit.
Right, exactly.
And I'm sure John, I mean, what do you think?
Oh,
Joe John
shit.
like that too?
Dude, Travolta, he was amazing, so much fun to work with. but he is a presence, especially because he's playing John Gotti.
Oh, fuck, so
he's
yeah.
in that
Cold. He was
headspace.
cold.
And I'm sure he looked like it too, dude. I've seen
those pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Mike actually showed me pictures from set when he got back.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Yo, we were at the office, and like he was like, hey, yo, come look at this, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Whoa, motherfucker!" I was like, "That would be so crazy to see him walk out in his gangster garb, like in his costume and hair and makeup done."
Yep. And, dude, it was insane. That whole set, that whole experience was the craziest set that I've ever been on. Nice. Because you had, first of all, there were so many producers tied to it because that movie was trying to get done so many different times and so many names attached to it. So there's like a ton of producers. You got like 15 producers, and then you got the mob. You literally have the mob right there. So there's like a tent right next to.
What were they? Consultants? We were freaking creative consultants.
Oh man!
Well, they brought him on The Sopranos as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did because you need that type of content.
100%, dude. And also, you don't want to fucking die.
No,
director, you fuck some shit up, portray it wrong. You're like, yo, PA, start my car.
No good.
Oh my God.
But it was a wild like circus because there were just so many different camps of people, and then literally it's like John Gotti Jr. is like right next to Kevin Connolly, like watching the monitor. After my scene, I walk over to them. It was surreal. And like his niece and like they were all there. Yeah. And they were all in like the fur coats and they had their old Cadillacs like all lined up. And I was on the part that shot in New York City. They shot most of the movie in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right.
So I was on the New York part. So that was like, we were at Sparks Steakhouse.
Yeah, you're in the thick of it where everything went down.
Everything went down.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people were saying there's blood on these sidewalks, like legit. So that was
dope.
Well, you can't get much more method than that, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Stepping right back into the shoes of those who have walked.
Right.
seriously, man. It was super cool. Super cool.
Well, there is another thing that I wanted to really bring up and really talk to you about and made sure we hit before we wrapped out of here.
Sure.
And we still got time by all means.
Sure.
But you are the founder and executive director of an amazing charity called Rhonda's Kiss.
Co-founder, my family.
Sorry.
No, I mean, because I want everyone to know that my family, all of us started this together.
Got it.
And then I kind of took the lead on it and said, I'm gonna, because everyone else is at a different place in their life, and it just made sense for me to do that. So.
Well, why don't you tell everyone out there, what it is and, what you guys are working on, how you guys started, just let everybody know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say Rhonda's Kiss.
Sure. I absolutely will. So it started because my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2014. And despite all our efforts, and we tried very hard, it was terminal and it was tough. She was gone in 2 months.
Damn.
And it was just so
I'm sorry.
quick. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. But it was so quick and it was just like snap of a finger. And I was still trying to grasp, everyone in my family was still trying to grasp, like, what the fuck had just happened? Like, it's crazy. So through that whole medical odyssey, once we kind of started to get some clarity, we were blessed to have some money as a family. And so we could try whatever we needed to try, any experimental stuff or whatever we could afford to try these things. And we just imagined people who don't have the means who are struck with this terrible, terrible disease because there's no socioeconomic background that it attacks race, gender, religion. Like, it goes after everyone. So my mom is just the same as any other human being on this planet. And we were just able to afford to try and save her. So we thought, not the exact treatment themselves, like the radiation and the chemo, because those are intense and they have a lot of money. Like, where can we do the best? Where can we touch as many people and help as many people to give them a chance to fight this disease? Because a lot of it is mental. I mean, there's mental support systems. You really need to understand this stuff, and no one does, because it's a scary C word that no one talks about, because we haven't found out how to deal with it.
And they don't treat it. You should treat it holistically. So you have the chemicals, you have that, and then you have the opposite side of it too, which is a
exactly,
approach.
and so that's what we support in ancillary treatments. You know, like a woman who's in a wheelchair and she can't afford to get the van that transports her to and from the hospital for her treatment. I mean, think about that.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah, you know,
like
and
you'd think the city would have one to at least pick her up.
you would think so. We're trying to work on some stuff right now, but we help pay for transportation. Now there's a lot of systems out there that do transportation now, like Ubers and Lyfts, and so we're hopefully gonna try and tap into that, talk to them, and see if we can work on something. I know Cedars-Sinai has somewhat of an initiative, and we work with them to do some type of Uber deal, which is good. I mean, because you imagine, even if you can afford to get a ride to and back, or drive yourself, whatever it may be, these people are so sick after treatment. Like they just need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not a fun thing.
Yeah.
So we're doing stuff like that. We can help a lot of people. Co-pays are really important, because man, you can't even pay for your medication. So every program that Rhonda's Kiss does is different with every different hospital that we have, because there's just a different geography, you know?
Right, yeah.
So we, for our Cleveland one is different than our Florida one, is different than our Los Angeles one, is going to be different than what we're trying to set up in New York City. But, you know, out here we found co-pays are really important. And even wigs. Wigs are actually really expensive. Like a good wig. I mean,
Oh yeah, they are.
it's
They need to start hanging with the hood homegirls. Charlene got them for 15, 25.
See,
and
that's
it's
what
real
I'm
hair.
talking about. Look, all right, I need you to hook us up now.
You
There
know,
we go. You
dope,
stand
though.
that one.
I remember doing research about how expensive wigs were, and like hearing about like different charities that you could donate it to. And when I had hair down to my shoulders like
And did
5
you
years ago.
cut
Yeah.
it?
So I knew I was going to cut it anyways, but I was like, oh shit, well, I'm not just going to cut it and throw it away. You got to do something with this. Yeah. And it was awesome. But then I was just like, damn, man. Because you got to think, that's not frequent. That doesn't happen frequent. So like a real hair wig is far less common than something like artificial or, made up. Like
sure.
extensions or nylon or some bullshit or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, that was not even on topic. But so
You guys donated the wigs. Is there anything else that you guys do with the program?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's also rad.
It's also it's kind of up to the discretion. Like we have certain staples that we do for sure. Like wigs. You got therapy. You got acupuncture, massages.
Nice.
You got a lot of holistic stuff.
Everything. Yeah, from every
rides
angle.
to cooking classes, because they found out that the ketogenic diet is huge in fighting certain cancers, specifically brain cancer.
Yes.
So they're trying to educate people. So Cedars is doing a cooking class that Rhonda's Kiss is going to fund.
Nice.
And things of that nature, like programs that are different and help, but then also just the basic stuff that you need. Rent payments. I mean, you got to keep your lights on.
Yeah.
Right.
You got like, how hard is that? You got a family and you can't even keep your lights on, and you're trying to battle cancer, and I mean, all those things that you really don't foresee. So we develop good relationships with people in the hospital programs or hospital systems that we work with, and then we institute this program. Right now, we're working with Cedars. We've given $150,000 to Cedars-Sinai.
Awesome.
And with that money, we're instituting the Rhonda's Kiss program. So we're working with that, and now we're just starting to really get impact stories and people understanding and wanting to talk about what this means, because that's, I mean, for any nonprofit, it's like, why are you doing it? What is the work that you're doing? So people understand what the impact of the work is. And so that's what we're really working on right now. I don't mean to be too long-winded, but as you asked, how do we start? We started more so as an awareness event-based company. So like we throw events. Our first event in Cleveland was actually our most successful event. We raised like $600,000 at that event, which was truly amazing. And I knew we were onto something, but that's why I had to pick it up, because we can't keep going back to the same well. You know, Cleveland those were all our friends and family, but they're not just going to keep giving the same. So I pulled it out here to Los Angeles, and we had an amazing rock and roll show, and we realized that there was a lot of awareness at the El Rey Theater, and then what we can do is we can donate to these hospital systems that we work with. You know, they get promotion while we're doing Rhonda's Kiss, and then we can give the money to them, but we didn't have the manpower and we weren't established enough to institute the programs themselves. So now I'm super excited because we were letting the hospitals on their discretion with a similar program that was, you know, aligned with our mission statement. That's what we were kind of letting happen. But now we really get to be in the thick of it. And we're doing, instead of all these huge events that we do all the time, we're going to do about 6 events this year. And they're going to be, some are going to be smaller, like, you know, private mansions and trying to get committee members and donors of that nature to bring in the money to get the work there.
And more focused.
Exactly. And then we're going to still do the large awareness ones. Going to be a lot of fun. A big one in New York this summer, and even bigger one again at the end of the year in Los Angeles.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, those events are crazy. What is the third, 4th year? What year are we in right now?
Ah, man, that was the third year we did it in Los Angeles, but that means, I mean, we'd only been about 2 years working in Los Angeles.
Well, it's going good. It's getting bigger and better every time,
you.
man. Congratulations, man, on what you're doing.
Thank you so
man.
much.
Like you,
for sure.
You're walking through the fire, man. I love it. Man.
What I really love about what you're doing is you know, especially after hearing the story behind it, really in detail now, is you're directly affecting people's lives.
Yeah.
That is a big, that is more inspirational and more, I think, it deserves more praise than just saying, hey, you know, we're gonna, you know, donate money here or whatever, you know.
I was gonna touch on that too. Is like there's different types of cancer donations that you make, and a lot of your money you donate to any type of cancer foundation is research. Like you hear research here, there. That's where the bulk of cancer money is going. And research is great. We need to have that money there. But it only affects people like 5, 10, 20 years down the road, and your next generation. Right now with Rhonda's Kiss, we give the money directly to the people who need help to fight it right now, and that's important.
It is important. I mean, because you have to attack the problem from multiple angles. You know, there is just no easy one solution. You know, it's going to be a lot of the science, the health, the money, the logistics, the time, the planning, the emotional. I can't even imagine. You know, and you know. So what I say is that what you're doing is beautiful, and it's you know, having and creating a spot like that, you know, where there's a need for it, and you're fulfilling that need, and your whole motivation, or you know, your main motivation behind this is inspiring to me, and I think it's inspiring to others. And if you're listening or watching this and you're not fucking inspired by what I just heard, you suck as a human being.
Real talk. But it's fighting for every person. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you inspired, like you said, you realize what you guys had, and you want everybody else out there to be able to have the opportunities that you guys had when the situation arose. You know what I mean? Because even myself, previous to this, over my life, I've had 5 different of my friends' mothers who also passed from same situations, and a couple others who survived and things like that. So it's a very common thing that probably touches everybody's life, you know. So it's something that's really important, that even though we work on it, it's something that I think people forget about, the ground level reality of it. A lot of times, and they worry about the cancer, and they worry about the research part and the new pill and new this, but they forget about the everyday life reality of dealing with it.
You're hitting the nail on the head right there. And I did a lot of market research when we were founding this and creating it, and what I did see was what we were thinking was so true. There's not many, and if there are nonprofits out there, they're smaller. So there's not much money being given to something like this or something of this nature. And so it was perfect for us to come in. And if we were going to come in we got to make a bang, because this, like you said, fighting cancer, it's going to come from a combination of stuff. But this facet of fighting cancer, no one is helping. So if we can come in and really raise that voice and say, well, we got this, there's research happening, all this stuff is going on, then, we're giving people more of a chance. We really are.
Well, then that's the most beautiful thing that I could hear about that description of what about your charity and all your projects you got going on. And anytime you have anything you ever want to promote or any event, you better text me and tell me so I can blast it out there
For sure.
and throw it out to whatever you need.
For sure.
Is there, and one of the things is you do have quite a bit of supporters, because you're doing this in multiple cities now and starting and continuing to grow.
Yeah.
And you got some pretty well-known supporters. Like your musical lineups have been fucking dope for your events, man.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah, I was. You invited me, so you were like telling me, "Oh yeah, look at this," and I'm like, "How the fuck did you get these people?" That's awesome. So that's awesome. Something to be said. Anytime anybody can check any of that out. I mean,
I would love to give credit actually in there, and in the fact that you recognize the lineups and the shows and how much fun they are. That's as far as I get asked a question like, is there one person who's helped you, or like who are really instrumental people in Rhonda's Kiss? Because I'm like the face and the driving force. We haven't had that many supporters yet because we're still just getting it going. But my partner, basically Christine Kushner, whose husband is Dave Kushner of Velvet Revolver. She basically was like my right hand to get this thing up. We did the first LA event together, and she's got the eye, and we talk about these, like we work together so well to put those shows on. And she's connected to a lot of musicians in that way, but she's a cancer survivor herself. So when she heard about it, like, this kid is trying to come here and he's trying to do this mission, wow. She was really touched. And as I said, we haven't had a big payroll at all. It's been very small. It's been her and I for a little while pushing this thing. So she's been a super huge help with the events and driving force to keep this thing alive. So
the first 5 years is the toughest. So
it is.
You guys keep powering through. Y'all get through that first 5 years, it's going to be around forever.
Exactly. You just got to make it through that IRS checkup.
Yeah.
That's it. The first 5 years.
Yeah.
But we're, with what I shaped and molded for us in 2018, we're right there. We're going to be on par to be looking really, really good for the IRS.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
I know, I've dealt with 501c3s. They are a bitch.
Yes.
They are an incredibly bitch. And the IRS makes your life a living hell if you don't cross your T's and dot your I's. They will climb up and in your ass with a microscope and look around.
Plus, this is a family company too. So they look at families even worse. When it's 501c3s, they investigate. Like, great. So you
making
gotta
sure
be
there's nothing
right,
suspicious.
because there's a bunch of people who fucked it up for us. So,
but anyways, you guys are doing what's right. You got awesome stuff coming up for that. You got Gotti movie coming out. Kyle killing the fucking game right now of life, personal and professional. And tell everyone out there, if they want to support Rhonda's Kiss, where do they go? How do they do that? What can they do?
All right. Well, if they want to do that, they can go to our website right now, which is rondaskiss.org. rondaskiss.org, and you can go to Get Involved section. You can go to Donate section. Follow the events section to see what we have coming up. And we got Rhonda's Kiss on Instagram, and Rhonda's Kiss Facebook, and Rhonda's Kiss Twitter. Yeah, so plug all of those.
There you go.
All your friends.
If you're listening here on Dash, write that shit down. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will include links in the comments and the description of the video to all of Kyle's projects. Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Kyle. Dude, this is so amazing. you know, I love you because we had a really great, deep conversation about fucking Black Mirror and shit. And then
We always have deep conversations.
Well, because which is very relevant because we smoked right before we started this, so I was just like high as fuck talking about the universe and like.
I figured that was a good segue to ease us into.
Hell yeah! But then I love got in the meat and gritty of acting and fun stuff about that, and then brought it home from the heart, my friend. Yeah. Straight the fuck up, the man with the golden heart. So Kyle, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this bitch up?
You know, I do want to touch on 2 more movies next time I come back around because I'm going to be shooting and producing 2 films in June this year. June's a big month. I'm going to shoot 2 films. I have Gotti premiere coming out June 15th and a huge Rhonda's Kiss in New York City. So that's all going to be like crazy month. But I'd love to talk about those, when I can give more information next time around.
Dude, you name the day, whenever you want. I told you got open invitation. You call me whenever. If I got to bump a motherfucker to get you on in time, I will.
Man,
don't even worry about it.
Thank you,
Don't stress it. You fam, man. Fam, always.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the love.
So, anything,
Speaking of fam, the last thing I wanted to do was shout out to my girl, Julie, and my son, Oliver. I love you guys so much. You were actually going to stop by, but Oliver is not feeling too well, so they're going to lay low. I hope you guys are feeling better, and I love you so much.
Oh, there you go. Like I said, man with the golden heart. I have such a hard time hating you, your character in that fucking movie.
Oh, yeah, listen to this and then go see First We Take Brooklyn.
Please. Anyways, Kyle, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do, man. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for having all this great content. But more importantly, really, like, sincerely, thank you for all, like, the shit you do for other humans.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's really cool.
That means a lot, man, because I really believe in this cause. And, it's so close to me. And I know that we can do a lot of good. We can grow and we can help a lot of people. So I'm building it, and it's going to happen. It's not the easiest thing. It's like reliving, going through what my mom did over and over again. I didn't foresee that side of it.
Oh, yeah.
But
can't imagine.
But yeah, you see a lot of people who want a lot of help and they're in need. And so that's just, but I live with that, with them. And there's going to be, help is on the way. Rhonda's Kiss is on the way. And I also almost forgot to mention, First We Take Brooklyn is out on DVD, iTunes, all mediums.
Get that
May
shit.
1st. May 1st.
Gotta go buy that.
May 1st. Yeah.
May 1st, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
As soon as that drops, we'll blast that out on social media and shit too, for sure.
Cool.
One last thing though about Rhonda's Kiss you were touching about is, another thing I love about it, we were just, affecting people's lives directly, but now your beloved mother and her memory will live on and directly reflected in other people's lives. And that is incredibly beautiful. So
Thank you.
Congratulations of all your success. I wish you nothing but the best and more. And I'm sure we'll be on talking about all this shit again.
That's right.
Thank you.
Closing out, Mr. C, you want to close out?
Oh, yeah.
Go around. We'll do the rounds and
Yeah.
social media or whatever you want to touch on.
So it's Mr. C the Enforcer, Poppy Carlo on Instagram, Mr. C Force on Twitter and whatnot. Always check out the Ding Dong Show on YouTube or Mondays at the Comedy Store, 10:30 and whatnot. Fuck with that. Also mess with the Clapper that's out in theaters right now. Scramble film, get it off of iTunes. That's the Scramble movie. Get it on iTunes. I play Black Jesus in that movie, and it's kind of wild. You gotta mess with it. And also go to GT's Comedy Jam and check out these comedy shows we got going on in LA. And always listen to Skitbags Radio.
Woo-woo. Kyle, you want to plug your social media or anything? Or?
Sure. Kyle_Stefanski on Instagram and Kyle Stefanski on Facebook. Don't have a Twitter, but that'll pop up soon enough.
Definitely go back to all the Rhonda's Kiss links.
Rhonda'sKiss.org. You can get involved. You can donate. You can watch for what we have coming up for events. And just become part of it. This is a movement. This is exactly what I'm doing. This is a movement. I have the vision for it, and we're not stopping.
There was a twinkle in your eye when you said that.
Don't forget to follow Rhonda's Kiss on Instagram, Facebook,
Yes.
and Twitter too.
Exactly.
And speaking of social media wizard over here, the Gabster.
Well, hello there, everyone. Remember to follow me, Gabby Shake. Gabby Shake, SHAIKH. That's a weird Middle Eastern thing. Thanks, guys.
And thank you for DJing our show, as always, with our camera and doing all the research and everything. And last but not least, of course, I'm Sailor Dev, Instagram Sailor_Dev. But more importantly, follow the show. Keep in touch with updates about guests we're having on, behind the scenes footage. If you want to interact with the show, ask our guests a question. We'll give a shout out if it's good enough. If you got something interesting, we'll throw it up here. But it's on Twitter at Skitbags Radio. And if you want to email the show, send us some love, send us some hate, send us some nudes, whatever. It's skitbagsradio@gmail.com. And on that note, we're out.
Skitbags Radio.